Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Wednesday episode of Paranormal Brew. I'm your host, Taryn Kerber. Every Wednesdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Join me here with new guests and topics. And so tonight, as you all have seen, I've been advertising. I have Mr. Jason Hawes joining Paranormal Brew, and we talked before the show, and I'm actually his first podcast. So if there's any other fellow podcasters out there, please reach out to Austin, have him on your show. He's just starting out. I've had the pleasure of working with him a little bit already, which we'll talk about. But he's literally he's had the best teacher. If you say so, and it shows. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to bring Austin on because he's who you guys want to talk to.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Austin. How are you? Let me bring the chat up because I don't have it up. Sorry, I don't have the chat up. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
I know this is your first podcast, so I'm very honored to have you on. And I'm sure, that everybody watching is everybody was looking forward to this show. I'll just tell you that. All the peaches, which you've met some of them, So let's get into it. Okay, shall we? If you want to just start out just by telling everybody, kind of how you got into this. We know, I mean, in your bio, you say, your dad, you kind of followed in your dad's footsteps, but you, much like Cody and Satori and your other siblings have taken this to another, in your own direction, what you want to do with the paranormal side of things. So just kind of give us like a little bit of history and then,
Yeah. So, I think it all started when my dad owned the Spalding Inn up in New Hampshire. And I was little. It was me, Logan, Satori. We'd go and investigate all the time. And we'd see my dad investigate. And that's when he was doing the show. And I think just the experiences we had there and growing up with it, it was just fun. Like, I had so much fun doing it. And like years down the road, I kind of just lost it. Like, I wasn't really doing anything with the paranormal. My dad was, my family was. Up until senior year of high school, I was like, I kind of want to do it again. So I started getting back into it, did an episode with my dad on ghost hunters. And ever since I've just been addicted to it. So I've just been trying to do better and just do much more investigations.
So like your videos, what I love is, you dive into the history of where you're at too, which I love. Like you really get into it and you go to like a lot of the historical places and stuff like that. Did the history gravitate you more and then the paranormal, or is it kind of like the paranormal and then the history?
I think I've always loved history. I feel like my dad's the same way. So we just love history, but I think knowing the place and knowing how much history is in all those walls of that building before we go in is just so amazing. And it sometimes it makes it easier to communicate to the past the past life, and try to get names and everything. So it's definitely, I think learning the history before you go in is just it's a big plus. I like it. So
Yeah. I went back and forth when I started out. Like at first I wanted to know, and then I was told it wasn't good to know. But now I think the opposite. Like I think it's good to know the history, and you know what I mean? I think it kind of helps you with your investigation,
hmm
because you know what kind of questions to ask. You don't want to I don't like to know the ghost stories, if you will,
yeah,
but I do want to know the history, the legit history.
yeah, like who lived there and if
Yeah.
people passed away and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Sometimes I like to go to places and I don't like to actually know the history.
Mhm.
Sometimes, but because if you catch something that is about the history, it just makes it so much cooler. So.
It does something to validate. Yeah.
hmm
Um, you and like we were talking beforehand, Austin, asked me if we were going to talk about it, so we will a little bit. Austin met up with me and the Peaches at Captain Grant's Inn because they live near there. So we invited Austin to come check it out. So, what did you? That was really cool to work with you. See you were walking around with your cool little video
hmm
camera and you were doing your thing. But what did you think of Captain Grant's Inn?
Was beautiful. That
Yeah.
house is gorgeous. And but I didn't know there was a cemetery in the backyard, so I showed up like I was doing some research and stuff. So when I got there, I knew some of the stuff there. I've heard of it before, and there was just so much. I mean, like even the cemetery in the back was just huge, and it was covered in tall grass and everything. But even walking back there, some of the parts of the house that weren't like changed up, like the old wood that was like axed into and everything. Just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and some of those stones were like for like the people like were born and died in the 1700s. So it wasn't even like it was like this. And it's a shame because some of the stones you can't really see. I wanted to clean it up. I felt so bad being back there. You
hmm
guys went out there at night.
hmm
A couple of you guys, I think you, Dana, your dad, and I think Lauren might.
Lauren,
Yeah,
I
Lauren
believe.
might have
Yep.
went out there with you guys, while we stayed inside, and we were having activity inside. What happened outside at night at the cemetery? Did you guys catch anything?
So, like, I believe we heard a voice. What it sounded to be like a voice. I'm not too sure, but it's just like it was a weird vibe over there. It just felt like there was a lot there, and there was just so many graves. Do you remember how many graves there were by
There
chance?
was. Oh my goodness,
So many.
we do know this number. We
I
do
think it was
know
like hundreds or
it was
something.
100 and something. I remember if somebody's what Lauren or Lauren, do you remember how many graves were back there? Because it was like 100 and something, but there was like a lot of little ones. You know what I mean?
hmm
But it was still an incredible location. I mean, we heard disembodied voices. I told your dad,
hmm
I was like, we heard after you guys had gone, like we were on the steps and we were doing like an EVP session and we were listening to the audio from an EVP burst and we got an answer from the EVP burst question, like listening to it out loud. And we were like, oh my gosh, we were like, that was just a disembodied voice. We caught
That's
it.
awesome.
But
Yeah.
so yeah, there were some really cool stuff that happened. So how many places have you been since you started? When did you start your YouTube channel?
I think it's been 2.5, 3 months. I think like January, I think I started. So like beginning of January was when I posted, I believe, first.
Yeah. And how many places have you been so far?
I mean, besides this place I'm going to this weekend, I'm going to a place. I mean a couple. I think probably like 4 or 5 places, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like 5 or 6 actually. Yeah.
Out of the 5 or 6, and we won't talk about Captain Grant's Inn. Let's take that one out. But out of the places you've been, I hate asking this question because I know it's hard for people to answer this. But what's been your favorite place that you've been to so far?
Without a doubt, it's the SK Pierce Mansion that I just posted a video about.
Yeah, which was
And then
really
number two would have to be the Hearts of Hall for sure.
yeah. Now, is it because of the history or the haunts?
Little of both. Mostly the haunt though. It was
Yeah.
crazy. The voices we heard, shadows, everything.
Do you go with your dad ever, or do you have like people that go with you? Because I've only seen you like you just go by yourself to places. Like, is what I assume that you like when I watch your videos. Except for the SK Pierce, right? You weren't by yourself.
No, I wasn't by myself for Hearts of either. But I mean, like, uh, when I did Hearts of, I was with Logan, my twin brother, my dad, JV, James. It's we kind of go as a group and we go
Yeah,
and investigate. I never go to a location really by myself. Even when I went to Fort Wetherall in Rhode Island, my dad was there. Just
yeah,
because it's not safe to be by yourself in some of these
right,
locations. So
right, right.
I'll investigate by myself, but I am not going in there alone.
What got you what got you started on wanting to do the YouTube channel? Were you going places and like doing like amateur filming stuff and like that's what did or
So I believe my dad did a video at the Paint House in Coventry, Rhode Island, and I tagged along for it. I didn't have a YouTube channel at the time, but I did it. And it was just fun. And I've done some stuff with Satori and Cody, so I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try it. So
yeah. And so we were talking beforehand, but a lot of work goes into your videos, right? I mean, for a content creator, right? So you were telling me that um, one of your videos, um, I'm sorry, Jossie called me Hobart instead of Taryn, and then she corrected herself. So it was making me laugh. It was a typo. I'm sorry. You were saying that one of your videos was 3 days of editing and doing stuff like this. And what did you say, seven
no,
hours?
it had so like usually when I do a video, it'll take like up to a week to really edit it and everything. But if I'm trying to get it done in 3 days, it will be hours a day. Like it's practically a job.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work. It's fun though. I love learning every time. Every time I do a new video, I learn something new. So it's definitely worth it.
yeah. And so out of all of the equipment that you do know, what is your favorite piece of equipment to use?
Ooh, that's tough. Probably a REM pod. I want to start using a REM pod for sure. And every time I've ever used one, it's been fun. So
Okay, hold on. I'm just starring some. So, guys, just so you know, I don't think I mentioned this like I said I was going to, but the questions I'm going to star, and I promise you, we already talked about it. I'll give like a couple minutes at the end, unless I have time to smoosh it in here. Dad's talking. Let's see. Been doing great with your editing skills. Yes.
he's taught me a lot. A
Well, if
lot.
there's anybody to learn from,
Hmm.
it's from the Grand Poobah, the
Hmm.
pioneer of the paranormal. Pioneer of the paranormal. That's better, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. REM pod definitely. So I was on an investigation one time, and like what's weird with me is like trying to like one of the things I struggle with, right? And I don't know if you have the same problem, but um, when you're trying to communicate with the unknown or the spirits, whatever you want to call them, what do you call that? If you're in an 1800s, let's just say it's being haunted by somebody from the 1800s, for lack of, you know, what do you call a REM pod? And for the longest
Yeah.
time, I'm like a little black thing, you touch it, it's not gonna hurt you. Well, I was on an investigation one time at Octagon Mansion, and the guy John that owns it, because of the antenna, he calls it, "Can you touch that silver pencil?" And I thought that was like so brilliant. I was like, yeah, they know what pencils were, right? And that, so, and they knew what silver was. So I always say now silver pencil. So yeah, I would be down to I don't have a REM pod, but I'm with you with the REM pod thing. Um, so let's see here. Let's see if we can questions. Give me 1 second. So Carmen is asking, what is Austin afraid of? Since Jason is afraid of bats.
Squatters, for sure. I've always been afraid to walk into some place and somebody was living there and I just didn't know. Or some abandoned place and just come across somebody that knew I was there, but I didn't know they were there. I just don't like that. I don't know.
I
It's my
am
biggest
with
fear.
you 100%.
Hmm.
Do you do urban exploring?
I mean, like Fort Weatherall was it's an abandoned fort. Me and my dad went there. We
Yeah,
were just very cautious. I wouldn't have gone by myself because squatters and people just hanging out there. You just don't have any idea they're there.
yeah.
But I've been to Norwich State Hospital, and I came across somebody actually there, but they were scared of me. They thought I was like police or something. So
Well, you are a big dude, so you know what I mean. I can see how they would think that. Um, yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not. I would have to go urban exploring with somebody that knew what they were doing. That's just like I watched that video where you guys were at. That place looks so cool.
mm,
But I would want to go with somebody that knew the lay of the land.
yeah,
Because it's real easy to get lost in those places. That kind of reminded me of like, did you ever see Chernobyl Diaries? Did you ever see that movie?
no,
You have to
no.
see it. It's
All right.
really good. It's a good one. Um, Carmen again. How do you know what you pick that stays in the video and what you take out?
All right. So when I'm editing a video, if there's just a lot of repetitive questions that I ask, I'll take some of them out because I don't need to ask the same question 30 times. People are just gonna get sick of it. Um, if there's like some camera shaking, like if I'm shaking the camera, I'm not gonna show you guys that because you guys are just gonna be annoyed that it's just moving all over the place. So
Right,
just
right.
little things like that I take out. I don't take out a lot, but
He's afraid of his mother.
oh, that's true. Yeah. Yep. hmm
Wait, you're not afraid of your? I would be afraid. Well, I
I'm
don't.
more afraid of my mom. Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Your dad is scared me. Like, not scared me, but I could see him coming off as, and maybe because like the whole dynamic reminds me of like my dad and my family. Like, I have six brothers and one sister. My
Mhm.
dad was a cop. You know what I mean? So it's like, and when I hear your dad talk about you guys, it kind of reminds me of the whole dynamic. And we were very afraid of my dad. We were afraid of my dad.
I don't know. I'm definitely more afraid of my mom. Yeah. Yeah. I think
Uh,
so.
um, wait a minute. The chat's going pretty fast. Hold on one second. Um, Never thought about that, Austin. That's a good one. Um, Hold on. There was something. Somebody was asking a question. I think they knew you because they said, I thought you went to the fort with your sister first.
I
Now I,
actually did. No,
now I can't find it. I can't find it. I was looking for it, and now I can't find it.
um
Sorry.
last summer, um before I had YouTube, I went to she did like a vlog slash investigation. So we went to Newport. We spent the day in Newport. Had a great time, me, Cody, and her. Then yeah, we went to the fort and we investigated a little bit. It was much busier there. Like sometimes like people will go and visit it. So
Yeah,
um but it was fun. I went there first with her, but I've gone years before, so
yeah. That's awesome. And then,
hmm
and I like that you guys all work together. Like I love that. I think I can speak for a lot of people that they would love to see a Hawes family investigation.
hmm
I don't know how many times you guys have probably heard that. I mean, now that the more of you that are coming out, like Cody and Satori, and then you, and I'm pretty sure some of your other siblings also, Haley, maybe, right? She's done
Yep.
some stuff.
She's done like ghost hunters and stuff, but she's gonna. I want her to do some investigations with me for sure. So
That would be so cool.
hmm
See, I think that's awesome. Like I love that whole idea of it. I think that would be so cool, and I'm sure that's not the first time you've heard it.
no, nope, not at all.
And because you all add something different to,
hmm
you know what I mean? Like Cody and Satori are more on the spiritual side, and they like connect with spirits, and then you could be like the video editing guy. You know what I mean? You guys have a team already set up.
And what I tell you, Haley, Sam, and Logan are like so amazing with history. It's
That's
crazy.
so cool.
Logan knows everything. He makes me feel stupid. So
You know what else is cute? Your little videos where you like when you go around, like the one where you were asking everybody questions.
hmm Yeah, the interview.
That's cute. Yeah, I like that. You should do that more often.
The hardest part was trying to get them all to do it with me. I mean, trying to have them all like be like, "Yeah, I'll do an interview for you." That was the hardest part, but
Do they
no, it
have
was fun.
like a checklist like you can't ask me this, you can't ask me that, you
Nope,
can't.
they didn't even know the questions. I think it was. I think one of my sisters asked for the questions. I was like, "No, I'm not telling you the questions. That just makes it not as fun." So I can catch them off guard.
Yeah, it was fun. You and your dad's interactions are the best.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
funny.
we've been doing that for so long before even YouTube and stuff. We've just been. That's just how our life is every day. So,
You said your job would be carrying equipment.
yep.
So let me ask you something. I mean, you don't hear much about mom. Like, is mom into the paranormal stuff, or is she just like, because I mean, at this point, everybody else is, but I've never really heard, like, does she just sit back and go, hey guys, do your thing? I love
I
it.
would I would love to have my mom on a video with me. I've said that to her. She does investigate. Like she's gone to places and investigated with me behind camera. Like we don't do it on like film or anything, but
Right.
she's big into the paranormal. She loves that stuff. She just doesn't do it on camera.
Yeah.
She's just very just behind the scenes.
Yeah. That's fair. I
That's
mean,
just what she wants. It's not any of us. So
yeah. 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 So and everybody's always been involved in the paranormal. Now, do you think you have any, I don't know what to say because I don't. I'm just an investigator. But I mean, do you think you have any clairvoyance or anything like that when you go into a place? Do you ever feel like you can feel stuff, or are you just kind of going in and
I I do. I feel like I do feel stuff, and I've said it before in videos. Like I walk into a room and you just know something's there. And I don't know if it's because I've been technically in the paranormal since I was born. Like my dad's show started back in 2004. Um but I remember even growing up and just going tagging along to some of these places, and I think just even as a child and just going to so many places in your life, I think you start developing kind of a sensitivity to some spirits and stuff for sure. That's just what I believe. But
yeah. Um, I was going to ask you a question, but this might roll into it. Carmen is asking, what was the one thing that made you a believer? I was going to ask you, do you remember anything you experienced at the Spalding Inn
Mhm.
that made you, you know
I
what
thought
I
of it before you even asked that question.
mean? Yeah.
um, so the inn was built in like late 1700s, early 1800s, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but I remember me, Satori, and Logan. We were all up in one room. Uh, I had to have been like 5, 6, some very young age. And I just remember looking at the bathroom light in the corner of the room because the bathroom was around the corner and the light was on, and you could see a figure just standing there. And it looked like it had like a feather hat on and everything. It was crazy. Literally to this day, I still remember it. Like Logan and Tori, they would probably say the same thing. So it was crazy.
So
But
that was the first time you weren't scared.
that was, I, if I could be wrong, I think we ran out of the room. But, but yeah, I think that's the first like genuine thing I remember for like a figure that I remember at least.
Fair enough.
But
Figured.
I've had experiences at my own house too that like has just
Yeah.
made me believe it.
Yeah. What's the thing the most that stands out to you that happened at your house?
Oh God. I
I
feel
think
like
your dad attracts them, just so you know.
probably.
I think he does. I think he's like a magnet.
Well, my dad has always said it. I mean, you could walk into a house that's like 500, no, 300 years old and there could be nothing. And you could walk in a house that was built yesterday and there could be stuff because
Yeah, the land. It's the
people
land.
are walking around.
Yeah.
No like spirits just really staying in one spot. So
Right, right, right.
I
So
remember when I was younger, my mom told me that, well, she told me that when I was younger, I had to have been like 5, 6, and some figure walked through the house supposedly, and I was crying, and I was like, "Oh, King Kong, everything," but like I didn't know what that was back then, and it was just like some very giant black like figure, I guess, walked by. So that's crazy. I don't remember it,
you
but
don't remember it.
No.
Thank goodness. Sometimes our minds block things out. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So maybe it was very terrifying for you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, Gosh, I had another question in my head, and now I forget. See, that's what ADHD does to you.
Mhm.
Um, is your paranormal fascination only with spirit, or are you into like, have you researched any UFO stuff or cryptids or anything like that? Does it expand out that you have an interest outside of just Casper?
Yeah. There's a place I want to go to in Massachusetts that has like a lot of UFO sightings and stuff. I love aliens and UFOs. When I was younger, I was obsessed with Bigfoot, all that stuff. So, um, UFOs are definitely something I would love to get into for sure. I'm a 100% a believer of aliens and stuff. So,
Are you? What about
hmm
Bigfoot? Are you a believer in the cryptids?
I don't know. I think I would have to see it. Too many people nowadays fake things online, so whatever footage might be real, you don't know if it's real because so many people fake things. So,
That's so true, and it's getting
yeah.
worse, right?
Oh yeah, AIs.
AI is getting crazy. I mean, you can literally take someone's picture, make it move, and make it talk, and make it sound like them. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's crazy. Um, Carmen's asking, do you believe in doing any grounding or protection or anything like that for yourself?
Yeah, no, I believe it. That's like crystals and stuff, right? I could be wrong.
Well, yeah, like
Kinda.
kind of like like saying a prayer, or some type of a
Oh,
protection before you go into a place,
yeah.
like just like to keep,
Oh, yeah, I believe in that stuff 100%. Yeah,
yeah.
I believe in all that.
Where's a bucket list place you want to go to?
Ooh. I actually asked my siblings this in the interview, and I didn't even have an answer. Ooh, probably the pyramids. That would if I could go anywhere, I would want to go to the pyramids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I would go there. First of all, I'd have to go with somebody that knows what's going on. Like knows
Mhm.
the lay of the land, knows how to get me to and from the pyramids safely. Do you know
Oh
what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like I'm a superstitious person. So like that whole, I don't know if you want to call it black magic, but like the whole stigma behind
Mhm.
curses and everything like that with the Egyptians and everything. Like they were such spiritual and they were so spiritually driven. Like that kind of, like I'd want to go, but I would literally make sure I didn't touch anything, or I didn't like say, I would be so afraid I would do something wrong because I'm so superstitious. But the
Mhm.
pyramids would be cool. You think
Yeah.
you would get like activity in the pyramids?
There's so much stone there. I would assume like so much energy because if you think about it, the pyramids were like aren't the Romans closer to us than they are to the pyramids? I'm pretty sure I heard something about that. So all that history
Yeah,
in that stone, it's
thousands and
crazy. I would
thousands
think so.
and thousands of years. Like
Hmm.
I watch shows about it on TV because I'm so fascinated with the history, but yet I'm, like I said, I'm just so superstitious. Like I'm so afraid to go there.
Hmm.
Like King Tut, like I was watching this show about all the stuff they would do. Like they were like, I couldn't have lived back then for sure. I
No,
mean,
I couldn't.
their rituals and everything like that were normal back then were just insane. But they're like digging up. There's all kinds of archaeological digs going on, and like the stuff they're finding is insane.
That's crazy. There's so much history that people don't know. It's just, I think that stuff's so amazing when you discover something new like that.
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be cool? I wanted to be an archaeologist, but my mom was like, "There's no money in that." So I never pursued it, but I love archaeology. I love when, it's got to be exciting to find,
Oh yeah, or being the one to find it.
be
That
the
would
one
be
to find
awesome.
it. I know. um they would have what? They would have killed you for your age. It's true. Yes. They would have thought something was wrong with me. um have you ever used a Ouija board?
I have not. Nope. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about Ouija boards. Like I don't know. I wouldn't use one personally. I don't know if I believe in a Ouija board, but why? the whole point of a Ouija board is to let something like take over you. To like, I wouldn't want something to take over me to spell something out. I don't know.
Right. I don't think I don't know. I think it's just a game. I'll be honest
Mm-hmm.
with you. Like I
Yeah.
used to be afraid of it because my mom was afraid of it. Um, but I mean, listen, it's intention, right? I mean, like it's all what your intention is. I mean, you can draw it on the ground and get a Dixie cup, and what your intention is that you put behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is what you're putting out there. So you have to be careful, obviously. But if you think about it, a Ouija board is no more than a like what we use a recorder to try to communicate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're still trying to communicate with something. You're just doing it in a different way. Um, and you just have to, from what I know, you have to know.
All right. For you guys who don't understand what he's asking, um, or saying, when I in my video and my like description of my video, I misspelled investigation, and I didn't do it once. I did it twice, and I felt pretty dumb. But I only have a.
Oh, it happens.
I know I'm not good at spelling.
Oh, here. This was the person that brought up you going to. I'm sorry. Does that say Ethan? Hold on. Where's my glasses? Is it Ethan? I want to say Supernatural was the one that brought up you going to the fort with your sister first. So
Hmm.
I saw that, but she said you don't need a Ouija board. You have Cody and Satori.
Yeah, I mean, technically they ain't a Ouija board because they're not made out of like cardboard.
Right.
But yeah, yeah, pretty much I have a human Ouija board. So.
That's true because they do the ABCD thing. You
Hmm.
know, what is your favorite uh technique to investigate? You know, like they have their thing. You know, like is it just for me? Literally, me. I would sit in the dark and the quiet for hours and not talk and just record.
What is my dad saying?
He's picking
uh,
up still.
sorry. Um,
Is
what
that
was the
how you
question?
spell? Wait, is
Oh
that
my,
how you spelled it though?
no. I'm gonna get him back for that.
Video it.
Oh, I will. Um, I think my favorite technique. I love that knocking where you go like I'm not gonna pronounce it right. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like boom, 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 and then it's the last two.
Yeah.
Like I think I like it because um I was in the paint house with my dad and JV investigating, and then JV and I did it, and you could just hear it from the attic, and it was the loudest, most distinct, like boom, boom, right after. I
That's
think
awesome.
it just I've gotten a lot with it, so I
Yeah.
think that's my favorite.
Um, that actually worked.
Shave and a haircut. Yep.
Yeah, shave and haircut. Thank you. I always forget it too. That happened at uh the Cashtown Inn right outside of Gettysburg. There's a place called Cashtown Inn, and we were in Lee's. We were upstairs in Lee's bedroom, and we did that, and we got two knocks. We got two knocks back the same way. Shave and haircut, two bits. Yeah. Um, Everybody's saying it's shave and haircut.
That's thanks, mom.
Oh, I thought there's another Kristen in here. I thought it was my friend Kristen. I'm sorry. Hey, Kristen. I like threw it up there and threw it down. There's another Kristen here. I thought it was her. It's called shave and haircut. Yeah, I like using the knocks. You know what I mean? That's why I like what I've tried to do what Cody and Satori do. One, my ADHD, my patience just is not. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to have some patience to do that, and I can appreciate that they do that, but and it's awesome the results they get.
Oh yeah.
But I also do think that it's what you attract as well. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's not going to work for everybody. It's going to work for certain people. I mean, I used to think I repelled when I went, I repelled spirits when I went in there. You know what I mean? Because we would go to the most haunted place in America. and nothing would happen. And I'm like, it's me.
Hmm.
It's got to be me, you know. But I think it's all depends on the person.
Yeah.
Which, besides your family, who's somebody that you would love to explore or investigate with?
Mm. Ooh. I think I wouldn't even take somebody in the paranormal. I think I would like to take somebody that's never really experienced it, like my girlfriend or my best friend Tyler. I think it would be so fun because they've never experienced anything.
Do
So
they
like
want
just
to? Do your friends are your
yeah.
friends into it?
Yeah, they asked. They've always wanted to go. They've asked me several times. I haven't gotten them into any place yet, but it'd be fun. So
Oh, you're being invited to the Penhurst Paracon to hang out with everyone.
yeah, I would like to go. I am not going though.
That's all right. There'll be plenty of Paracons.
Yep.
You'll see. Once you start getting out there,
Hmm.
you'll be invited.
I've gone. I don't remember like where, but I've gone. I think a couple places like that my dad's been and just hung out. I think I went to one in Mohegan. Went and hung out with him and Satori. It's fun. You meet a lot of people.
Yeah. Um, I asked you did I ask you the a bucket list location, right?
Yes. Yep. I said the pyramids.
The pyramids, that's right. That's what we went on that big, huge, long conversation about that. Um, and who would you want to go with? Your dad?
Oh, my dad, and Logan for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would want to go with them too for sure. Maybe Satori and Cody. It would be fun. I would take everybody if I could. I don't think there's somebody specific.
Yeah.
Everybody.
The Johnny Cash. Um, so your YouTube channel, right? It's just
Hmm.
Austin Hawes, right?
Yep.
Um, where do you where do you where are you where do you where's your direction? Where do you want to see it go? Like what do you want out of it? Like what do you want people to get out of it?
That I don't. I want people to get out of it that I'm not gonna be one of those like over exaggerating YouTubers. Like not everything's got to be that way. Um, I'm very big on my dad's been to thousands of locations and he's never been possessed once. All right. And some of these YouTubers will go to several places and be possessed every time. It just
Every
makes
time.
no sense. And I think I think there's too many people that are ruining the paranormal for
Mhm.
the people who are actual like believers and
Real
truthful.
investigators. Yeah.
It's not fair. So like my dad's always taught me to be true. So that's what I do. And I
Which
make it seen in my videos. I mean, if there's something I'm like, "Oh, no, that's not what it is." That like it could be that.
right,
100%.
right. And that's I mean, that's what I love the most about, I'm happy that I grew up watching your dad's show. I mean, I remember when it first came out and I watched their show religiously, you know what I mean? And I was happy about that because I feel like I did learn a lot from watching their show, you know?
Mhm.
Um, so and I love the fact that they're not like that. And it's sad because even a lot of the TV shows, like, some of them started out, and I know this is unpopular. Sorry. This isn't Austin's opinion. This is my opinion and is my opinion. But Dead Files, for example, when that first started, it was okay, but then all of a sudden everything was evil, demonic, and you know what I mean? And what they were leaving these families in tears. You know what I mean? And I'm used to watching ghost hunters where they're actually helping these people instead of making them cry and tell them they have to burn their house down or move out. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so for me, that just didn't sit right with me. Um, uh, and that's what I loved about ghost hunters is that they always helped the people, in the private houses that they went to and this and that. And um, it's such a better you can tell the difference between people that are going into places just because they want evidence or going in because they want to help people.
Yeah. And I think too many people nowadays on social media want clicks. So it's like that's all they do. Like they don't actually investigate. It's just pretend to be possessed just for the clicks and the views. That's all it is. But I mean, I would rather get one view on a video and be real than 1,000 and be fake. So
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you, and I love that you feel that way. And your videos definitely show that. You were wondering if they show that, and they do. I just want you to know that.
thank you.
Um, but what are you like? Are you planning on doing like? Are you planning on doing like series? Let's see, your dad. Let's say that's why I never worked for a network or a production company. We ran our own show. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I have to give him props. He never strayed from ever being real. Like he's always been real. He's always kept it real.
Like
Always.
when I that episode I did with him in Ogdensburg, New York, on Ghost Hunters, everything was so real. He was like everybody respected him, and everybody knew everything had to be so real, and it was just amazing. It was truly amazing. There's definitely no other show like it for sure.
Yeah. Honestly, like this is not going to sound nice, but like back in this is when it first started, and I was watching it. And of course, I have six brothers. They're all younger than me, and they pick on me because I like the paranormal and stuff. But they were like, they never catch anything. And I'm like, yes, they do, but they don't catch something every time because that's not how it is. You're
Hmm.
not going to catch something every single time you go to a location. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work that way. But the stuff that they did get is like 100% like more believable in my eyes than most of the stuff that came after that went
Hmm.
on TV. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's and and I respected that that's where you want to go with it no matter what. Um yeah, it's nice to have the views and the likes and the people following. It's nice to have that. You know what I mean? It's good to have that. And if you can make money off of it, that's great. But you don't want to lose sight of you don't want to lose sight of your passion or what you got into it for. Like you never want it to become money to become the motivation. You know what I mean? Like you still want your passion to be the motivation.
Yeah, even when I'm editing my videos and like I'm watching through, like if something just slightly comes off, like I'm a little too dramatic, I'll cut it out because I'm not like I don't want people to think I'm that way either. And yeah, I mean, it's just there's no need. There's no need to try to make people think you're possessed. Like, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, your dad said it's always been keeping it real. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's so true, and that's why I love them so much. I love them so much, and I will. Nobody says anything bad about them in front of me because um, I was going to ask you something, and then your dad popped in. Going back to it, like this is what I always said, and like we were going back to how you were talking about like how the different YouTubers and stuff like that, how they do their content. I think I always say this. I always say there was a generation that grew up watching ghost hunters, right? And
Hmm.
we investigate. That generation still wants to research and investigate because that's what we grew up watching. That next set of generation grew up with ghost
I
adventures,
was just gonna say that.
right? So here you have now these YouTubers coming out that grew up watching ghost adventures. So that's what
Hmm.
they think they have to produce, right? Meanwhile, you still have the OGs, all these, 30, 40, 50-year olds that grew up watching ghost hunters. And then you have the young guys coming in that ghost adventures. And then you have this small little portion of people that are like, wow, the paranormal, I could really make some money off of that. I don't know anything about the paranormal, but I'm going to do something to do with it so I can make money. You know what
Yep.
I mean? So there's like these three groups in the paranormal. So I think that's why it's gotten that way. And, I really love to see people like you thrive over, I'm not knocking anybody for what they do,
Oh yeah.
but say that's what you're doing. It's entertainment. You're researching their entertainment.
Put a disclaimer or something. Just be like, oh,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't know why you can't do that. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. Because it does kind of put this discredit over the people that are really credible. You know what I mean? And really are doing this for, because from in a general, if people don't know any better, you know what I mean? Like the paranormal as a whole.
I think the biggest problem is people actually believe it.
Yeah.
Like the people actually believe that like you can go to 5 locations and get possessed in 4 of them. That I was gonna say that and I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, my dad's always told me that like you can spend your entire life trying to build a reputation, but one video you can blow it if you just want to be dramatic. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. Um, hold on. If you so fear the living pod, if you have half a personality, you can vary a dead investigation in front of an audience. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You can if you have personality, I think what he's saying is if you have a personality, whether or not it's um an evidential, you get evidence or you have anything happening, you can still have a good show.
Mhm.
But that's what I'm saying. Like with your stuff, you do a lot of the history. So
Yeah.
even if you don't capture anything paranormal, a lot of people that are into the paranormal love the history of the stuff,
Mhm.
of the places. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I add it because there's some people who don't like it, like the investigation, and I still want to add something for everybody. So the history is at least a part where people can watch. I try to put it long enough so it's enjoyable. Like it's a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know your videos usually are what, like a half hour?
Yeah, I mean, history, like exploring's like half hour, 45. All my investigations are gonna be between like 50 to an hour plus for sure. So
Yeah. That's cool. Now, are you ever gonna do a live thing, or is it always gonna be like, you went and you
like a live investigation,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. And there would be like you have to know there's like no editing or anything, like it's
Yeah,
live. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Which like I did a live once and it was like a 3-hour live. Not a lot of people watched it. But I'm also not, you know what I mean? Like you probably would
Yeah.
get a lot more people watching, just like your dad gets a lot more people to watch. But um I let the whole thing play and I tell everybody all the time, like, go back and watch it, please, because a lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff I don't understand because I don't really understand the equipment that much. Um but live investigations are hard. You kind of got to I've noticed that if you are a content creator, you got to keep
Hmm.
you got to keep it like 3 hours is just way too long.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like a lot of people probably do know this, but some people don't realize that when me, my dad, like we're all investigating, we're there for hours. Like that hour long video could be broken up between like two invest like it had to have been over like 6 plus 8, 10, 12 hours of investigations. It's
Right.
crazy.
Right.
So doing a live, it would be a very long like time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that was one of my I remember somebody saying to me one time, about like I said, I will defend ghost hunters to the day I die, but, somebody was saying to me one time, like, "Well, I remember when they first started out, like, it was always hit or miss if they got and now and when they came out again, it was like they were getting stuff every episode." I'm like, "Well, they were spending longer times at these locations, and they were
Hmm.
condensing it into one episode." So, yes, like, they're getting stuff because they're spending more time at these locations as opposed to what they were doing before. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, and they're like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, sit down."
Yeah, I mean, I've been to places in the first day we go, it's crazy nonstop, and the second day it's just there's nothing. So it's definitely some days are definitely a lot better than others. So
Yeah. Um, what was I gonna ask you? I keep seeing the chat and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah." Um, so I will tell you that when your dad did when they used to do the Halloween ones, the live
hmm.
episodes, I would be glued to the TV the entire time. And I think they were like hours upon hours. I don't even know how long they were, but like I said, if you all did a live, that would be you could be on for probably a couple hours and people would watch. I'm
Yeah,
telling you right now.
the lives were awesome. I mean, I was young, but I remember like
Totally.
Halloween. I remember just Halloween, like being able to like watch my dad and like go trick or treating. But the other part that wasn't good was he wasn't there on Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he said he hated that. That's what he hated.
Hmm.
Um, any of the locations that you remember watching your dad go to on TV, like let's say you were watching the Stanley Hotel or watching, is there any locations that you want to go to that he's been to that was like kind of stuck in your head from when you watched the show?
Not really. I mean, if I could go back to any place he filmed it, it would be the Spalding Inn, 100%.
Is that still, did somebody, is that a private residence now?
I think some business or something owns it. I don't like some theater. I don't know if they sold it though. I could be
Um,
wrong. I haven't heard anything in a while, so.
I mean, I imagine you guys would be able to just go and like knock on the door and say, "Hey, can we walk around a little bit?"
Mhm. My dad said it was 6 hour live shows on Halloween.
6 hours, and
Hmm.
I'm not even kidding you. That was the only time I was allowed to stay up. Like, I was up, and I remember I told Jay this. I was like, I was half asleep when you guys when they were at Stanley Hotel, and when him and Grant were in the basement, and all of a sudden you hear that hello, like that little girl. I sat straight up. I was like, holy shit. I was like, that was so cool. Um,
If
so
I if I could ever do it, like, I I wish I could have done a like Halloween live episode with my dad. That would have been
you
amazing.
can. You guys are older now. Now Halloween. Now
Hmm.
you guys can do a live Halloween, and you can
We
call it
could.
Halloween.
Hmm.
Halloween special.
There we go.
I think that would be awesome. How often, Austin, are you putting your videos out?
Um, so I shoot for every week, but that's not possible because there's only so many locations and editing and everything. So I shoot for every week. If I can't, I'll skip a week here and there. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's usually every week.
That's a lot of work. How do you
Hmm.
do it? How do you do it?
I don't know. I don't know. I give a lot of credit to those YouTubers who edit their own stuff. I know some big YouTubers have editors and stuff, but those people who edit their own videos, I have so much respect for them. I didn't realize how hard it was till I started doing it.
It's crazy. Like from what I see and hear, like I talk to a lot of people that do it. I don't even know how to edit a photo, let alone a video and adding in. I just learned what B-roll was. I had no idea what B-roll was. I'm like, what's B? Why does everybody talk about this B-roll? What is this? Like I have no idea. There's no way I would know how to do any of that.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't know anything until like anything about editing. Every I was telling you earlier, he like every video he taught me something new. Now I'm on my own, but like he would help me through it. He was a very good guide, and it's crazy the amount of stuff you can do and like just how much time it takes.
yeah, yeah. So, are you looking for your YouTube channel to be a long-term thing?
Yeah, yep.
And
I'm gonna do it for a very long time if I can. So
people can just find you on YouTube at Austin Hawes.
yeah, it's Austin dash Hawes. So
That
it's literally yeah. If you look up my name, it might come up. I don't know.
Austin, hold on. Can you hear that typing?
A little, yeah,
You can?
a little bit. I can hear you hitting the keyboards.
It's not letting me. This this laptop is older than me, probably. Austin Hawes.
Yep,
Austin Dash Hawes.
yep,
All right, I'm gonna put it up.
yep. That's it.
Okay, cool. Let's see. We'll put it up. Austin Dash Hawes. Yeah, there we go. Um, so whenever you're like, if you ever come to Jersey, definitely like look and Gettysburg. You got to go to Gettysburg.
I want to go investigate at Gettysburg. I've been there, I believe, once or twice, and it's just amazing. The amount of history there. I love like all that war history and everything.
Yeah, Gettysburg is the best. I was on a video the other night. I'm very protective of Gettysburg, and I don't know if you know who Side Eye Guy is.
Hmm.
But Side Eye Guy brought up Gettysburg, and he poo pooed it and said, you know, oh yeah, there's a bunch of dead guys hanging out there, and I'm like, Side Eye Guy. I was like, I used to love you. Like
I like Side Eye Guy.
yeah, he's awesome.
Hmm.
We made fun of Gettysburg and people believing paranormal's there, and I was like, I used to love you, but he was awesome about it. But Gettysburg, if you ever go to Gettysburg, please let me know. I would love to show you all the little paranormal hotspots in that because um, there's a lot of spot places there that not a lot of people. I have the coordinates tattooed on my arm. That's how much I love Gettysburg. But there's a lot of little places that not a lot of people know about around there to investigate and explore. You can go anywhere there.
Hmm.
It's awesome. Through
Yeah.
like going through the park and the battlefield, you know what I mean? You go anywhere.
I was young last time I went, but I would. That's definitely on my bucket list to go back, especially investigate somewhere. That would be cool.
Yeah, it would be awesome. And they have a lot of they have 3 farmhouses now you can rent, just so you know.
That's
Um
cool.
yeah, that are actually in the park. So, oh, thank you. Um well, we are coming to an end, Austin. So, is there anything that you want to talk about that we didn't talk about?
We talked about a lot.
We did talk about a lot. We did talk about a lot.
Yeah. I'm going to some place this weekend.
Are
It
you
should
like
be fun.
so you one of those people that can't talk about what you
Well,
got?
I'm not gonna say where it is, what the place is, but I'm going to New York. It should be fun. Going
Cool.
to yeah, New York.
We're peaches are going to be in New York. We're going tomorrow. We're going to Hinsdale House, and Friday we're doing like a day tour of Rolling Hills Asylum.
That'd be cool. I would like to go to Rolling Hills.
You would love Rolling Hills.
Yeah. There's just so many places,
There is so many.
and I don't even like getting into it. I don't know a lot of these places, and I see some of these places online and some of the history, and it's just so cool. Rolling Hills would be cool. Penhurst would be fun.
Penhurst is awesome.
Yeah. There's a mine, I believe, in New Jersey.
Yes, I was just
My
there.
sister, yeah, my sister was telling me I need to go there. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, John Ruggiero and Chris Therion, they run it. And I was just there helping them out. Juwan Mass was there, so I was just there helping them out with an event there. That place is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
I
only ever heard good things.
yeah, Cody and Satori said that was one of their favorite places.
Hmm.
Yay, come to the mine. No, it's really she was just there with me too. Yeah, it's called the Sterling Mine. The Sterling
Sterling
Gold.
Hill Mine. That's what. Yep.
Uh,
Names of places. It's hard.
and it's hard to remember. You
Hmm.
even like when you hear people talk about stuff, it's really hard to remember all the places and where they're at. You know, I'm bad at that too, though. I always said one of the places, if it was ever possible, I'd want to do the White House.
That'd be a good one.
I'd want to investigate the White House, and not because it's the White House, but because, well, yes, because it's the White House, but it's supposedly haunted.
Yep. It's
Uh,
old.
Numerous presidents have reported activity. I have a book about it. I love the book, and it's like it's like Ghosts of the haunted White House or something. And
So what do they do when they see like a shadow? Do they call
right,
Secret Service? I don't.
I mean, I assume.
They're calling. There's a ghost in there.
Oh, you've already been to Rolling Hills, sweetie.
Oh, well, I don't remember that, so I'll have to go back.
You will. It's so cool. Such a cool place. Um, um, yeah, the white, yeah, it's funny. I mean, you would think the stories are in that book say like, I mean, like almost every president has had an experience there or has something weird happen. And what would they do? I wonder.
That'd be funny.
I would assume they have to call Secret Service.
Probably.
They
Yeah.
think they see a person,
Oh yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Let's see. Do I have any? Oh, I do have a question. Oh no, I already asked it. Sorry, my fault. Um, well, let me go get your dad's thing. Please, everybody, go check out Austin's YouTube channel. It's at Austin Hawes. like, subscribe, and please share this video out, not for me and not for Paranormal Brew, but for Austin, just to get the word out there. And if there's any podcasters watching, reach out to, you're open to going on other podcasts, right? Before I tell
Yeah.
everybody that.
Yeah.
Please reach out to Austin, have him on, talk about, and maybe, he'll have a lots to talk about, with his upcoming stuff and things that happen. And good luck to you.
Thank
I
you.
follow your channel. I love your videos. So keep on, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you have coming up.
Yep. No, there's a lot of exciting things, so stay
Awesome.
tuned for that.
Yeah, and thanks for going. And like I said, the Peaches next year, Captain's Grant Inn. You are welcome.
All right. Thank you.
We've already talked about it. We would love for you to hang out longer, do some videoing and investigating with us and stuff. It would be so
Yeah,
much
just let me
fun.
know.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and somebody said, as Jay said, on to the next.
On to the next.
About it out. You have a good night, sweetie.
You too.
Thanks for coming on.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Good night.
Good night.
That was awesome. Awesome, I like to say. He did great. That was his first podcast. I'm happy that he'll always remember his first. So thank you so much. Please, everybody, please share the show out for Austin. And go like and subscribe to his channel. And as always, until next Wednesday, please have sweet dreams. I see you guys. I am booked until June for the show. So I have some pretty cool, awesome people coming up. But thank you for joining us. And please go show Austin some love on his YouTube channel. And you guys have a great night. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. See you next week.